Welcome back to another episode of the Done Deal Show. Cristiano Ronaldo has been asked by Ten Hag to stay at Manchester United next season. He wants him to be part of his plans. We're going to delve into that. We're talking about Mikel Arteta's new deal, Koulibaly to Chelsea being on, and also Ten Hag backing Bruno Fernandes, believing that he is a fantastic player. We want to get your thoughts. We want to get your feelings. We want to know what you think and feel about all of these stories that are circulating today. Make sure that like button is being smashed, people, by the way. Very important to the football terrace that you're getting that done. As we say, we're talking about Bruno Fernandes being extremely highly rated by Ten Hag. We're looking at the Koulibaly news as well as Cristiano Ronaldo reportedly being asked to stay at Manchester United by none other than Ten Hag. Now, I want your thoughts and I want your feelings on this. Let's go to some of your early live comments. We're going to open up the lines for you to phone in and have your say. As mentioned, calling shows are back on the football terrace, and we'll get the full schedules will start to be put out very, very soon, each and every single week ahead of time. So you know when we are. There'll always be emergency ones, or say emergencies, breaking news stories that make us go live sooner. But as a general rule, we'll get a schedule up and out to you on a much more regular basis. But I want to start off with the story about Cristiano Ronaldo today. And look, this story it's a fairly mild story in many ways, because a lot of people will say, well, I thought he was going to stay anyway. I thought he was going to remain at Man United. He has another contract. He hasn't really expressed any real desire to leave. Most credible journalists have kind of said that. He's weighing things up, hasn't really expressed a major desire to leave. The biggest talk was always around, is he part of Ten Hag's plans? Is there an issue with the way Ten Hag wants to play in Cristiano Ronaldo? The closer we get to Ten Hag coming in, the more the news states that, no, this isn't the case at all. In fact, Ten Hag wants him to stay. He will be asking him to stay and sees him as very much being part of his plans. This also coincides with the news that Cristiano Ronaldo has stated that, again, this isn't for him to sound arrogant, but he has no issues. He won't be crying his eyes out should another striker be coming in. And why would it? Elite level football players don't cry about competition. They embrace it because winning as a team is always more important to them than their status or how they look inside a particular football club. So Ronaldo staying is a huge piece of news for me. And I think that a lot of us have been overly harsh on Ronaldo at times this year, including myself. I do think we need more in the attacking positions. I think he needs more support. I think the club needs more in those areas. But Ronaldo being there, he will still score important goals. I think his presence in that dressing room will be important. And some real winners and some real leaders and some real experience is going to be key. Keeping as much continuity as possible is also going to be important. There's going to be a number of outs and a number of ins over the course of the next few months at Manchester United. So I think this is a very big piece of news indeed. And this kind of coincides very much as well with the situation with Bruno Fernandes. And I have tweeted this out earlier on today and had a bit of fun by asking the likes of Johnny and Adam what they think. But Bruno Fernandes is also extremely highly rated by Ten Hag. And the reason I think this is an important piece of news for Manchester United fans to focus on, for Manchester United fans to just understand is there, it's in the pipeline, as it were, is because he's going to play under Ten Hag. I think there's a lot of Man United fans, they did this when Oli was sacked. Oh, Bruno will get dropped. Martial will play. Donny will play. You know, Bay will get a chance. Pogba's going to no. You were just... This whole man knows ball. Your ball knowledge is shocking. Listen, we're all football fans. Our ball knowledge ranges. Some people are more tactically minded. Others shrouded in historical knowledge. Others just enjoy the entertainment of the game, whatever it may be. But most people that say they've got great ball knowledge get a lot wrong, as well as the people that are just standard fans that don't really proclaim to be anything. But anyone that thought Bruno Fernandes, with his ability to score and his ability to create, was just going to be kicked by the wayside by Ten Hag, I think anyone who believes that is absolutely off their rocker. I legitimately think you are borderline here crazy. If you ever thought for a single moment that that was going to happen, if you ever thought for a single minute that Bruno Fernandes was not going to be part of the plans and the future of Manchester United under Eric Ten Hag, I think I legitimately think that you're crazy. I can't get away from that. I think you are actually crazy. Whether you think he's good or not is irrelevant. Players that score and create at that level are always going to be, at the very least, given a chance, a proper chance under a manager like Ten Hag, because one of the hardest things to do in the game is score goals. One of the second hardest thing to do in the game is create the goals. And Man United have a player that may not look great at times. He may be frustrating on the ball at times, but he scores and creates in a team with no system at similar or above levels to anybody else in his position in midfield in Europe. That's a great starting point to build from, in my opinion. So I'm quite glad to see this news has come out. David here says, is anyone else thinking I want to just see Terry's hair? You'll see my hair in due course, my friend. You really, really will. Terry, when is Dean Jones coming back? I'm actually speaking to Dean early part of next week. We're going to start getting the done deal shows with Dean ready and raring to go for the summer transfer window. Chelsea fan here says, big up, Terry. Hope you're well. Lorenzo says, hi, Terry. Do you think City should go for a keeper as well this season? Maybe. I don't think it's on the agenda for them, though. If I'm being absolutely honest with you, I don't think it's going to be upon the agenda for him to come in. Football isn't about scoring goals; it's about half turns and sauce. Danny there with the soul. Do you know what it is, bro? Listen, I get where you're coming from, and this is the thing for me. Look, we played Brentford. It was a dead rubber. But you put one matter into the team who controlled the tempo of the game, and you let Bruno just kind of go off and be a little bit freer and conduct his business. He scored a goal, got into a position to score a second. I think he created a couple of big chances in the game, did his business. If Man United buy a midfielder or two that can control the pace of the game, control the tempo of the game, Bruno is then free to go and be his marauding, sometimes wasteful, but highly creative and goal-scoring self. It just makes sense. And I think for a lot of Man United fans, they're fearful of that happening. Because for a lot of people, their agenda and their player power, their player FC nonsense means more to them than the football club. The attention it gives them on social media is more important to them than their football club now. They're addicted to it. So, yeah, I'm not surprised to see people not turning around and embracing this news about Ronaldo, embracing this news about Bruno, because it seems to be all the players that they really like. There's no talk about Ten Hag giving him a chance. Bay's going to be kicked out the team. Delo didn't step up to the plate, did he? Pogba's not signing. Martial's been told no chance of coming back. There has been no real talk that even Donny is going to be a key part or figural part in this team. By the way, I hope Donny is. I'd love Donny to turn his career around and do bits at Manchester United. They're just in the mud a little bit there, aren't they? But there we go. The other story today that I wanted to speak about, and I want to get your opinions on, of course, is Koulibaly. Now, Koulibaly has been offered by the agent to Chelsea. Now, I know what happens at the moment when people see Chelsea news. They go, wow, wow. And now this is their voice, actually. I'll do a better voice.
Well, Chelsea can't buy anybody, so this is fake news. This can't be real. They can't buy no one. Terry, transfer ban. No.
That isn't how it is. Nothing stops an agent ringing up Chelsea and saying, yo, when you guys get a new owner, would you be interested in Koulibaly? Oh, well, when we're officially allowed to talk about it, we might be interested. I love how people think that the transfer dealings are like completely dead. Chelsea aren't looking at players. They're not talking about it internally. Of course they are. They just can't go beyond initial talks or intermediary talks. That's all they can't do right now. But it's that voice says, you clown. Listen, it's not about me being a clown. That's how these people sound. That when I hear these people tweet, that's how I think their voice is in my head. But yeah, look, from my point of view, I've said it many times before, and I'll say it I'll end up saying it many, many times again in the future. Don't trust the agents. That's what I'm saying here. Don't trust the agents. Why is the agent offering the player so many good? Look, Koulibaly was class. I just get a feeling that the parade has gone by on this guy. Too many miles under the belt, you know. But Chelsea do need bodies. Rudiger gone. Silva old. Christensen gone. Aspie. Is Christensen officially gone yet? Or is he going to be going? Aspie gone. There's no defense. Listen, Shalaba's not good enough. Sarr not good enough. It's light. Chelsea needs some players. So I'm not surprised to see this, again, this transfer rumor come out. I'm not surprised to see it at all. But Koulibaly to Chelsea is kind of circulating as it stands today. On top of that, I do want to hear people's thoughts on Mikel Arteta's new Arsenal deal. What do people think about that? What do people feel about that? I'm intrigued to know. Legitimately, I'm intrigued to know what people think and feel about that. You can phone in now. You can have your say. By the way, make sure you scan this QR code that's on the screen or go and check out our clips channel after this. Multiple clips published every single day. Obviously, KJ supports that for us. So get yourselves over there. Why are you lying about Koulibaly? Where have I lied? Where have I lied? So I've lied that it's an official story from Sports Witness. I made Simon Phillips tweet that, did I? I made Simon Phillips tweet that, did I? I made Sports Witness write it. I made Sports Witness tweet it. I then run across the country to Simon's house and said, you fucking share that news now so I can make a video about it. Yeah, I'm lying about him. Fuck me. Fuck me. Sometimes some of the comments, listen, I love you guys. The Terrace loves you all. Sometimes your comments are mental. I'm literally showing you. I got to a point recently where I stopped telling people I was doing this, but I literally share all the news articles, the clippets, the tweets, the headlines, the journalists, and still people say, nah, that's not true. What more do you fucking want? You might not believe the journalist, but don't say I'm lying. I'm sharing with you the news. Mad. Absolute mental. I'm sorry to be rude, but that comment really kind of triggered me a little bit. It's just a crazy comment. It's a crazy, crazy comment to put in. But there we go. Look, from my point of view, I don't trust the Koulibaly deal. As in, I don't trust the agents. Agents kind of worry me a lot at the moment with why they're offering their players out. But there we go. In terms to Mikel Arteta, I understand why they've given him a new deal. I understand it. I do. It might go well, it might go wrong. There's a comment that he made, though, that stands out massively to me, where he said that I got offered the deal after losing 3 games on the bounce. That doesn't happen in football. Now, I know I'm very much isolating the quote and taking it out of context. But when I saw that quote, I thought, oh, my God, that might come back to haunt some people. Look, if you're someone that supports Arteta and thinks that Arsenal are on the road to success under the Cronkies, and you're supportive of the Cronkies, and you're supportive of, again, if you're supporting the new deal for Arteta, you've got to be supportive of the Cronkies. It's another good decision from them. If you're supportive of the youth, you buy the merch, you go to games. I don't want to hear nothing about the Cronkies anymore. You're supporting the way they run the football club. Simple as that for me. If you're behind all of that, then of course this is good news, and you'll find a way of making it positive. If you don't like Arteta, then this is a terrible, terrible day for you. Rivals seem to be split down the middle, and I am very much split down the middle. I'm kind of glad they're not going after what I would call a world-class elite manager. I'm kind of glad they haven't decided to sack him and try and get a Ten Hag before Man United. Haven't tried to convince a world-class manager like a Diego Simeone to go to Arsenal, because I think if Arsenal are to make it back to the peak of their powers, and I'm talking winning Premier Leagues, not making it into the top 4 regularly, it's going to take longer under Mikel Arteta than a manager that's already at the elite end of that spectrum. So am I as worried? Am I concerned? No. Do I think it's the worst decision in the world from Arsenal? No, I don't think so either, but only time's going to tell. Let's see what happens next season. You know, he has to make the top 4 now every year. He set the standard. Or at least next season anyway. But there we go. Look, I want to take your calls on this. Get Lee Gunner on. Look, we'll save Lee Gunner for the weekly show we do. Todd Bowley's Blue Army. Yeah, that deal is coming very, very soon indeed. That's so Arsenal is what David has got to say here. Koulibaly will still be worth 80 million in 20 years' time. Xander says we need Lee Gunner on the Arteta deal. We've got a very special fan channel review coming out later, so keep your eyes open for that. Keep your eyes open for that. Harkis is disgusted by Arteta's deal. Got rewarded for nothing is what AFTV has got to say here. But remember, we're talking Ronaldo being asked to stay, Bruno being backed, Koulibaly to Chelsea, and Arteta's new deal. We're taking your calls now. The link is pinned into our live comment sections. Let's get this stream past 200 likes while we are live on the air, my people. Let's get that done right about now. First caller I'm going to go to, we haven't spoken in a while, is Tommy. Tommy's a West Ham fan. What you saying, mate?
I did well. I'm not doing great, am I? I'm not doing great, especially after yesterday. I left after 40 minutes at the pub. I literally saw the red card. I was like, "Yeah, I'm going home." Do you know what I mean?
I bet you did, mate. But look, you did well to get to that point, and I think nobody was expecting West Ham to be anywhere near a European semi-final at the start of the season. In terms of this show today, what are you finding up about, mate?
The Arteta deal. The Arteta one. I can't believe it. Look, I know, obviously, I'm going to look at both sides. I get why they've done it, because obviously they want to see players want to know what manager is. But to be honest, I don't get the overhype with him, Terry. I don't know what he's done to deserve it. People go on he's getting top four, but he's struggling. He ain't got no Europe. He spent 150 this season on defence that's conceded more than they did last season. I watch them on their day. They're so. They're so hot and sour, because I give him credit. Some of the games I watch, he plays really good football. I think the game, I can't remember who it was against. I was like, yeah, this is how I would want football to be played. And then I see some games where they look absolutely terrible. I just don't get what they are. But then I don't get it, because I don't think Arsenal fans actually know what they want, because they either want Kroenke out, Kroenke in. But then if they had new managers, Terry, do you think Arteta would still be in the job? He wouldn't, would he?
New owners, I actually think no. I think if they had, I mean, I've still got big question marks about the way the Kroenkes run the club. The problem that Arteta inners have is when they praise Arteta, what he's doing, the youthful club that's being built, the recruitment, the direction the club is going in, the excitement they have around the club. You can't have all those feelings and at the same time say you've got the world's worst owners, they run the club terribly, they're making all these bad decisions. Because if all those other things were true, then you wouldn't be supportive of the front end out. I've never known a club to have bad owners who run it badly, that make bad decisions, that are terrible in recruitment, but at the other end of the outputs of it are very positive. Everybody's excited and everybody can't wait for the future. Those two things, in my opinion,
but it's Arsenal fans, isn't it?
Those two opinions cannot exist at the same time, in my view.
Yeah, I know. It's just but I've said to a lot of Arsenal fans. I said I think what down to it is, I think they don't know what they actually want, and I think they suffered so much under Arsene Wenger. Some of them, I think they just celebrate. I said, even when you look on Twitter, the small victories they shout about. They see Ramsdale's big save. They have cream over it. It's I sort of get it, because they were suffering under Arsene Wenger. I thought Wenger should have went years ago. So I sort of get it why they want a new manager. It's a bit of belief, but at the same time, you can't really look at that. You've got to look at what's going. He's finished 8th twice. In one of the seasons, he had the most games. The first season, he actually was in control of 19 games, more than Ljungberg and Emery. So he did finish in 8th. And plus, when they win, they give it all to Arteta. But when they lose, they go, "Oh, no, it's the players." But then you can't credit every win then for Arteta, can you? So that's what I see. I say every win should be on the manager, and every lose should be on the manager. I don't think it should be one or the other.
It's about being consistent, isn't it? You can't praise the manager for everything that's great that happens. Everything that goes wrong is not his fault. That to everybody on the outside, it's you kind of make that, that meme where it's what? That's how it feels to me. Listen, Tommy,
I said that. Wait a second. I also said that Ollie wouldn't win anything ages ago. I just want to prove you right, innit? Because I remember I come on ages ago, and I said,
it's not that hard.
I know.
It wasn't that hard to guess. Do you know what I mean?
No,
I've got a good prediction for you, Tommy. If you stop breathing for 5 minutes, I reckon you'll be dead.
Oh, mate, yeah, I smoke, so probably, yeah.
Well, anyone would be. This is an obvious thing. Do you know what I mean? Listen, Tommy boy,
Look
we'll
after
speak
yourself, bro.
again soon, bro. Cheers,
Yeah,
mate.
look
Take
on.
care, my friend. Thank you. Gooners, we want to hear from you. Arteta's new deal, happy, sad, or indifferent? Man United fans, I want to hear from you as well. Next on the show, we've got Adrian is here. What are you saying, Adrian?
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, mate. What do you want to say?
Yeah, no, I'm just going to touch on a bit of everything. Oh, well, that's went off. Yeah, I was just saying with the Bruno Fernandes thing. The thing with Bruno is he's such a frustrating player to watch. But equally, I get you when you say he is a very creative player. What I'm interested to see is he actually going to play in midfield? Because if he plays in midfield under a Ten Hag system and a possession-based system, I feel like he's just going to give possession away so much. I feel like if he could like improve on his like body strength, or if he can like put in a position where he has like that free roam role, like a false nine, maybe something like that, maybe you could see the best of Bruno. But if you just play him as an 8, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to work. Ronaldo staying, I think, actually can be good because I feel like he can give that leadership. It's just like when you see him recently, when he's just playing one game a week, he's really shown some upturn and form. I just don't necessarily know at his age you can rely on him playing every single game. So I think if he is to stay, if there is a striker who can come on in other games, I think it should be fine. And with the Chelsea thing, all I gotta say is, yeah, you're right about the agent stuff, but also Scott McLaren and Marina they've had an absolute shocker the last couple of years. Their scouting's been horrendous. The new owners need to sort it out. But yeah.
I hear you on that, Adrian. Good call, my friend. Thanks for coming on and having your say. And I get what you said about Bruno. You know, it's interesting. Everyone talks about midfielders now as like 6s or 8s or whatever else. And I don't know. Just play people to their strengths. Bruno is one of the best attacking midfield players in the world. Facts. Scores and creates at a level above and beyond most others. And when you consider he's doing that with no technique, no footballing ability, no football intelligence, not being coached right, and been in a team with no system, it's fucking pretty good, isn't it? You know, it's a bit like, listen, I'm not very fast, I'm not very quick, I'm not very tall, but I fucking just come second in the Olympics 100-meter sprint. It's fucking good, isn't it? That's how it feels to me. And I don't know what it is that offends people about him. Ten Hag will make Man United better. I'm pretty sure of it. There's a lot more that has to go on behind the scenes to make us highly successful, winning trophies and everything else. But there we go. I miss the old central midfielder. Yeah, that just was a central midfielder. Yeah, I feel the same. Keep hitting that like button for us, people. Next on the show, I think, is it pronounced Kufi? Kufi's on the show. What you saying, mate?
Yeah, man. Thank you for letting me on the show. I've been trying for a while, but I didn't have the chance.
No worries, brother. Who do you support?
Arsenal.
Lovely. Are you here to talk Arteta?
Yeah, but I don't like the news, unfortunately.
So give me your thoughts on him getting a new deal.
I think it's really frustrating, and you see that the club is going backwards again, because I don't see any reason why Arteta has been given a new deal. As the guy said, Adrian, I don't know if it's Adrian or someone said it. Like, do you see any reason? No, because we finished it twice. Right, we won an FA Cup. I think FA Cup is really nothing, because I remember this Conte won the league with Chelsea, but he was still sacked. So I don't really see any reason. I don't think it's really optimistic for Arsenal to give Arteta a new deal, because we've spent more money and we still, on the defense, we still considered more goals than when we had Mustafi, Kolasinac, Bellerin, and all those players at the back that we call shit. But we have Gabriel, the English Ben White, Tomiyasu, Tierney, and we still consider more goals than them. So I still think Arteta is a huge problem, and until we move away from him, we're not going to be on the top level. I don't think so.
And I think that's a really fair opinion to have. And I see this conversation happen lots with Arsenal fans around, well, I've seen progression, so he should stay. A lot of Arsenal fans are like, well, I see progression, maybe. I've seen some things get better. But if you don't believe that Arteta will get Arsenal back to winning Premier League titles, winning your first ever Champions League. I also understand the point of view of what's the point of just treading water with him as a manager. Whether people agree with you or not, I don't like how some Arsenal fans try and shut that logic down like it's a stupid thing to think. For me, it's a very sensible way to look at a football club. There's no doubt. If he was to be dismissed, who would you like to come in and replace him?
I think the other managers I would have preferred have gone to other clubs. Like I would have preferred Conte because I know he's a manager that can be very quick with getting the players up and winning, even though he hasn't done anything as well, because the Spurs players are just shit. But I think if he would have been at Arsenal, he would have really got the players in check and like go, and maybe would have won something out of that. I would have maybe been happy to get Ten Hag, but unfortunately, it's at Manchester United. There's no way. Maybe Club, maybe a few years ago, I would have taken Club. There was an opportunity for Arsenal to get Pep, but we didn't get Pep. I mean, people are forgetting that 4 or 5 years ago, we had the opportunity to get Pep Guardiola, but we choose to stick with Wenger and give Emery a chance, and this is giving us a huge problem now. I mean, it's crazy. I don't really see any top managers out there, but I would say the West Ham manager would be a good choice, or the Brighton manager, because if you watch the way they play football, it's great. So you enjoy them every week, even when they are losing. You see the kind of football they play, and you really want that at the club with the kind of players Arsenal have. I think they will do better with those managers.
I hear you completely. Listen, great call, my friend, and we'll chat again soon.
I would like to say something about Ronaldo before leaving.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I think I've heard so many people talking about Ronaldo saying, oh, yeah, we came at Manchester United. See, everyone is relying on him. Yeah, that's true, because that's who he is everywhere he goes. But people seem to forget when he was at Real Madrid that everyone relied on him. He scored all the goals, but they still won trophies. Why? Because they had a good midfield and a good defense. If your team is well structured, you can rely on a guy like Cristiano Ronaldo. When he gives you the goal, you can keep the defense, the midfield in check. If all that is in check at Manchester United, you will be be in the conversation for maybe first or second. But because your midfield and your defense is too bad, and he becomes irrelevant, he becomes a problem. So if he goes at a team like Manchester City, they wouldn't say Ronaldo is ever a problem, because they have a good midfield, they have a good defense. They can keep the pressure when it's really bad, and they can focus on him. You know what I mean?
I agree with you. I do agree with you. If there's better quality around him and next to him and everything else, you can elevate that. And a lot of us Man United fans, including me, turned too much from Ronaldo this season, and I make you absolutely right, my friend. Great call, buddy. We'll chat again soon. Thank you very much. Thank you. We are talking Ronaldo. We're talking Bruno being backed by Ten Hag, Koulibaly to Chelsea, and of course Arteta's new deal. It's all in the title. Whatever you will phone in about and talk about, get that done. Lorenzo here says, question, Terry, I agree with what you said yesterday. Yesterday, that you must have a Champions League title to be a massive club. So why do Arsenal fans think they're a huge club then? So I didn't say you had to have a Champions League to be a massive club, because Arsenal are a giant club. I'm talking about teams. So clubs have multiple teams. Man United have had dozens of teams over the years. Not all those teams are great teams. So Arsenal don't have any of the greatest teams in the history of football, because they've never won a Champions League. And I think there is a qualification standard needed for, like, the Invincible team domestically are one of the greatest domestic sides ever. Wenger's team, one of the greatest domestic sides ever. But one of the greatest teams in the world ever? No, because you have to win the world accolades. You can't be one of the best boxers in the world ever having not won a world title. You can't be one of the greatest runners of all time having not won the Olympics. You can't be one of the greatest tennis players of all time without winning a Grand Slam. One of the greatest golfers of all time without winning what are they called? Not Masters. What are they called? Slam? No, not called Grand Slams either. They're called something. Majors. You can't be. You can't be one of the greatest Formula One riders of all races of all time without winning. You can't just win Grand Prix. You've got to win the titles. And of course, Arsenal won league titles. They've got a record number of FA Cups. That is why they are a giant club. But in terms of greatest teams, you need that Champions League. Otherwise, you're dismissing the history of all the other clubs that have managed to dominate domestically and win those Champions Leagues. There's got to be that qualification. And that isn't a people think I'm dissing Arsenal. I'm also talking about very good Man United teams. So Man United's early 90s team that won league titles, 3 league titles on the back, did the double-double with the league and the FA Cups. They didn't win a Champions League. I don't put that early Man United team from the early to mid-90s. That does not get included in one of the greatest teams of all time. So I exclude some of my own club's teams from that list because they didn't win Champions Leagues. I'm really consistent with it. It's not about attacking any one particular club. It's about holding the standards high. Joshua here says, let's be real about Ronaldo staying. There are not many places that can afford his salary, similar to why I think Pogba might be here next year. Yeah, listen, if Pogba's only staying for salary, Man United have got to pull the plug. Ronaldo, there's not much we can do. He's got a year's contract remaining if he wants to stay. But I do think that's part of it. I do. Ronaldo can definitely be used, but wisely. Can't be relied upon solely, but well in contention with an incoming striker, allowing a year of development and to adapt is what David Gardner believes. Do me a favor, people, and keep smashing that like button. We are taking your calls today. We've got AFC Squeezy coming on soon, Mohammed coming on soon, Chike coming on soon as well, who are all waiting very, very patiently backstage. But AFC Squeezy's here now. What are you saying, mate? You're on mute.
Hi, Jerry, can you hear me?
I can hear you, my friend. Arteta signed the new deal. What are you saying?
I was just on YouTube about like 5 minutes ago and just saw an AFTV title saying that they offered him after he lost 3 games. So as much as I am Arteta or like I do like the manager, I question my club and say, if it was, let's say it was after he lost the first 3 games of the season, I look at it and say, like, I'm questioning my club because it's like, this guy hasn't gotten off to the right start. So why are you offering him a contract so early?
How long did he have left on his deal?
I think it's supposed to end not next year, but the year after that.
So he already had 2 years remaining. Look, I understand the argument that you want stability. You want to be able to show players that this is the weirdest thing. Clubs, like well-run clubs, like say Bayern Munich or a standout example, people partly join for the manager, but they know the club has always got a plan. So it's almost this case of if I'm advising a young player or any player really, we wanted to join Arsenal, we wanted to join Man United. Cool. What's the future of Arteta? Look, Arteta's here. He's our manager. We think he's really, really good. But if at any point we were to move on from him, we'd always look to bring it. You should always look to bring in a better manager than the last one, right? That's a standard thing. No one ever goes, right, we're going to recruit a worse manager. But we've got a club plan. You know, we're going to continue to play the same way, manage in the same way, and behave in the same way, no matter who the head coach is, no matter who the manager is. That's all you've really got to say to these players because that's how most top football clubs are run nowadays. And yes, when you get the elite of the elite. So Klopp and Pep are pawns because everybody knows how good they are, you know, but I kind of get the deal to an extent. At the same time, it's almost what happens now if in these last 3 games you crumble? What if you lose at the weekend to Leeds, lose the North London derby, and then don't qualify for... Like, I get people will say, well, the target was only ever top 6. And so he's already got Europa League, therefore he's already hit the standards. But I still sort of think, well, but it's in your... I don't know. I would have waited to at least the end of the season. At least the end of the season, see how it ends, and then maybe make your mind up from there. But yeah, the timing's a little weird for me. But look, look, the Cronkies want him. The Cronkies want him. They back him. And if you're backing Arteta, you're backing the Cronkies.
I don't necessarily think that if you back Arteta, you back the Cronkies. Because as a fan, you need to support the team. I support Arsenal as a team. I don't necessarily support the people funding Arsenal or the people that own Arsenal. I will always back my team. But it's a thing of, if Kroenke goes and signs, I don't know, give me let's say signed Traore, for example. I don't think he's a good player, but because he's playing under my manager and he's playing for my team, I'll back him, but I'll say, look, Cronkies, that was a bad decision, and this is why you shouldn't be running Arsenal Football Club. And in terms of our next manager, like I see it with United, where you guys have so many different players for different systems. And if Arsenal are really serious, I don't think Arteta can win us a league. I think it's going to get to a certain point where we're going to need a manager that plays similar football to him to just like get us over the line and sacked or whatever the case is. And we bring in a manager like Conte or like Simeone, we're going to find us in a position where we go and say, no, but this manager needs players for his system. If Pep were to play, like if Pep were to start managing Arsenal right now, I would expect results because him and Arteta play similar football. Klopp and Arteta play similar football in the fact that they want to score goals. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, listen, I totally understand. Do you know how mad this Arsenal news is? I've just seen this on Twitter. Lee Gunner is trending right now on Twitter. The word he hasn't even said anything. It's just everybody mentioning his name because of this news. Oh my god!
I'm not gonna lie to you. When I saw the news drop, I'm like, oh my days, Lee is gonna go in on Arsenal. I'm like, for me, it's comedy. Like I don't have anything against him. I'm just like, I'm gonna sit back and enjoy Lee's videos, and then I'm gonna watch like top gooners, as you'd say. I'd watch like the contrast in their videos and just enjoy myself.
I can't believe he's trending, but there we go. Listen, my guy, thanks for coming on and having your say. Top man. Thank you very much indeed. Appreciate that. Viewers, keep smashing that like button for us today. Lawrence here says the reason they are giving him a new deal is simple. They have seen the progress. They have seen the work he has done with our young players and how they have progressed. And he has shown improvements as a manager. And I think that's fair. I really do think that's fair. I think the timing could have been slightly better, but they obviously back him. And this is the point I'm making there. You've spoke about there about the progression, better young squad, better recruitment. I just want to see Arsenal fans that are backing Arteta be a little bit more patient in transfer windows, patient in the running of the club. I'm not saying you're not, Lawrence, because I don't know your personal views on it off the top of my head, but I see too much flip-flopping. I did a show with a gal the other day, and he went from saying we're so excited at Arsenal about the future, how we're developing the club, the progression, the way we're moving. And then in the very next breath said, but he hates how the club is run and the people all behind the scenes are doing, they're not to be trusted and they do terrible jobs. And I'm like, well, Arteta's not doing this all himself. But yeah, listen, we know why he's got a new deal. Let's have a little look at some more of these comments that are coming through here. Lone Tricks says Arsenal fans do know Kante and Simeone have a completely different style to Arteta. And that's also true. I will say this about getting rid of Arteta if and when it happens. You can't go for whatever the philosophy is, whatever the style of player you're looking for, you can't go for a manager that's the complete opposite. You can't go from Poch to Jose. It upsets the apple cart too much. It would take too long. It's taken until now under Antonio Conte to start to get them playing well again and being consistent again. How many years ago did Poch leave? I swear it's going to be 3 years this summer. So 2.5, nearly 3 years to get Spurs back on track because they went for the wrong kind of manager. There is no way Liverpool and Klopp in 2020, 37 or whenever it is now, whenever he leaves, are going to go from a Klopp-style manager to a Simeone, to a Conte, to a Conte. It's not happening because the styles are too contrasting. There needs to be an overlap. There needs to be some similarities within the style and everything else. You're absolutely spot on there, my friend. You're spot on. Welsh Gooner says, as Edu said, they have plans for the summer and they want stability for the future to be able to explain to players. And I think that's a fair argument. You've then got to you just don't want to make the mistake Man United did and give Ollie a new deal, and then by the October, it will fall apart. And I'm not saying they haven't read the room right. I'm not saying that. I'm suggesting that I think one of the biggest issues Man United players had is they got to the end of the season and were like, I think this is as far as we can go. They gave him a new deal, and it was almost like the players said, we can't go again. We gave it our all. We thought the club would do the right thing, and they didn't. I think your manager's got the players on side, so it won't fall down that quickly. But For many Gooners, they just feel as though this may be a little bit premature, but we will see. This could end up being a masterstroke. You could go to next levels, and then everyone moaning about it looks really, really stupid. We're going to get young Tommy on the show now. Young Tommy, what you saying, bro?
Hi, Tal, you right?
Yeah, I'm good, my friend. I'm good. What are you saying? How are you? I know you don't like Arteta, so how are you feeling about this?
Not good, man. Why are we giving this manager a new deal? Like, because if we lose to Leeds, it doesn't surprise me because they need points anyway. If we lose the Derby, we're gonna lose. I think we're gonna lose the Derby anyway because it's at their place. And if we lose to Everton and Newcastle, then and we finish fifth, I'm thinking we've bottled it. But why would you give this guy a new deal? Like, we finished 8th twice and you're giving him a new deal. I'm thinking, oh my days. But yeah, Stan Kroenke and Edu, they like this man. They like this guy. I don't know why, but they gave him this novice a new contract because for me, I want an Ancelotti or any top manager that could win us titles, not this guy. He annoys me. He's arrogant. He's self-centered. He hurts. The way he's horrible to Pepe. Like, he doesn't play him enough. The way he has egos because he can't manage egos, and he's just not a nice person, and I can't stand him. But yeah, if we lose to Leeds, it's not going to surprise me anyway because I've warned people about this manager. I said he's not taking us to where we want to be. But Stan Kroenke and Josh, they're happy with him, and Vinna and Eddie were just idiots as well. They're happy with him, but it is what it is. But I am not supporting this manager, end of. But I'm not happy that he's got a new deal onto 2024/25. I'm thinking, I'm not happy with this.
He's here for a while now, my friend. It's you.
Yeah.
But don't you just feel you're getting to a point now where you've just got to drop your own agenda and get behind him?
I can't because I wanna go to the next level for the challenge for the leagues again. He's not the guy for me, Terry. He used to put out coins for Pep Guardiola. He's a novice manager. He's just not for me. But
yeah, there we go.
I can't back this guy anyway.
I appreciate your honesty. Tommy, top man, for coming on and having your say. I appreciate it, mate. Thank you. CFC Matty to come, Chike to come, Mohammed to come on the show. Ash here with a super chat says, Terry, what makes you think Ten Hag is more elite than Arteta? Also, take Simeone's snooze fest football to United. We want attractive football at Arsenal. I understand that, and I think that's a very fair take around why you don't want Simeone. You don't think the football is attractive enough. I wouldn't give up trophies in the pursuit of attractiveness ever. I would never pick somebody over how they look, over how they treat me and make me feel. I wouldn't want the same for my football club, but I do understand, where it is that you are coming from. In terms of Ten Hag being more elite than Arteta, 2 league titles, 2 versions of the FA Cup as an example, maybe even a 3rd league title this year for Ajax as well. Very good runs in the Champions League. We got to remember as well with Ten Hag, there's a lot of things that people say negative about him as well these days, but he went on, his squad has been pillaged 3 or 4 every year. He loses some of his best players and he still manages to keep his team near the top. Now, in terms of being more elite, one thing we haven't seen with Ten Hag yet is what he can do in the English Premier League, and that is a test within itself. The same as if he was going to La Liga, if he was going to Serie A, he's not been at that level, and Arteta's there now managing. And you could very much be right, Ash. We could fast forward 12, 18 months, and we've gone backwards even more under Ten Hag. He isn't the right guy. Based on what a lot of people have said about him, a lot of people that have worked within the clubs that had him on the shortlist, he's certainly somebody that I'm willing to put my faith in, if that makes sense. But it's a very good challenge, my friend. It really, really is. David here, one of our members, says, believe me, people, Man United are down. Yes, but we are merely bending our knees, ready to jump back up the table over Chelsea, Arsenal and Spurs, and eventually Liverpool and City. David Gardner there, feeling very confident as a Manchester United fan. Let's keep them like buttons being hit. Let's get this past 350 likes while we're live on the air, my people. Gooners before the season asked for a top 4 battle, and now we're in it. It still isn't good enough. Typical Gooners is what Lawrence has got to say. Timing is odd for me, is what Alex says here. As like you say, we could lose every game and miss out on top four, but I also never expected to finish in the Europa League. That's already sealed, so it's probably deserved, is what Alex has got to say. Very good point there. Andrew says, every Arsenal fan that doesn't back Arteta is not a real Arsenal fan, and fans to say we have gone backwards are so wrong. Andrew here calling out gooners that do not want Mikel Arteta. Chike's on the show now, big City fan. I think he's just over crying now. How you doing, mate?
Hello, Terry. I'm still a little bit numb, but I think if we win the league, I'll feel a little bit better. And as for Arteta, how the hell that man deserves a new contract is absolutely beyond me. Because he even himself admitted that this new deal was signed 3 months ago, and for him to come out now and say it, oh my God! I'm not even gonna. I won't even say. I'm not even gonna. If I had a bleep machine, it would be a lot easier, but I don't, because he deserves to be named. He deserves every name under. It's a joke. And you wonder why Lee Gunner is so upset constantly.
Well, this is the thing. If Arteta doesn't get Arsenal back to the heights, then I can totally understand. I wanted to get your thoughts on Bruno Fernandes being backed by Erik Ten Hag. A lot of Man United fans are angry. To quote, this is Johnny. Johnny, the Man United fan, says, "I don't care. I'm never going to back him. Not happy with it. Blah blah blah." Like, what's your take on this? Should Man United fans feel more relaxed about the players that Ten Hag wants, or should they still be allowed to, or should they still continue to question these individuals?
I think they should still question them, because let's be honest. I think Bruno is a decent player. I know he's been very inconsistent the last year or two, but I don't really think. I think Bruno is one of those players where you can replace him with, because let's be honest, he hasn't really done much in the last year or two, and I personally don't rate Bruno as a footballer, to be honest, because I think that he'll score one goal and do nothing else for 90 minutes. And in football, you have to be controlled. You have to do something in 90 minutes. And I feel like all he does is just score one goal and do nothing else. He doesn't contribute for the whole game like a KDB does, like a Mahrez does, or even a Bernardo does. So I personally don't rate Bruno, but I think if Ten Hag wants him, so be it.
Yeah, look, a lot of people say that about Bruno. What else does he do? But
yeah,
do you know what we're going to do? We're going to set up we should do an experiment next season. We should get some people in a room, and we watch when Bruno plays, and in real time we'll record you saying what he does right and what he does wrong. And then what we'll start to do is cross-reference that by you guys can pick the 5 or 6 other players we focus on, and then we see how many more times in a game that they are doing those same right and wrong things, and whether or not you're calling them out. I've got a feeling that a lot of people are going to end up with egg on their faces.
Oh, jeez.
Because it's very easy to say, what else does he do? Well,
what
else do
Man United a lot.
What else do the other players do? What is it that the other players do that Bruno doesn't?
They pass forward. They pass forward. They
said that twice now. So Bruno Fernandes has the second most amount of passes in the league under pressure this season. So only Rodri and one other player have made more positive passes when being pressed than any other player in the league. So how are all those other players making more forward passes than Bruno?
Because one, it's leading them to a league title.
No, that wasn't the point, though. You're talking about a team being better. You just said he doesn't pass it ball forward. Right. Only 2 other players in the league have made more forward passes when being pressed this season than Bruno Fernandes. How is that possible if he doesn't make forward passes?
I don't know. Me personally, I just don't rate Bruno as. I just don't rate.
You don't rate him, but you didn't answer my question. What do all these other players do that Bruno doesn't? Now, I know you'll mention losing the ball, but we also know that the other highest level creators in the league, the KDBs, the Trents, the Rafinhas, these are all ballers, and they all lose the ball more than Bruno.
True.
So what doesn't make sense to me?
It's their way. Sorry, what were you going to say?
What we know this comes down to is this.
Right.
People just don't like Bruno, whether it's his personality or whether it's how he looks playing. all the things that people throw out as stats that are bad about him, they're comparable to multiple other players within his position. They're for gazy reasons. If you don't like him because you just don't like him, stop trying to make it about football and just say, I don't like Bruno Fernandes. That's more credible.
That's a good point. Maybe I just don't like him. Maybe I just don't like him.
Don't. That's what it is. It's a personal preference thing, bruv. It's like, I'll give you an example. This is what it is.
Yeah, sure.
I don't like opera. I wouldn't go to watch one. I don't listen to operatic music. But I do know that Luciano Pavarotti was a great singer.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know the guy, but I haven't heard it.
Bruno Fernandes is a top-level football player. You just don't like him. And that's fair. But the stuff people come out with, he doesn't do anything else other than score goals in games. It's not true. It isn't true. Because if he didn't do anything else in games, why is he one of the highest creators in European football? How is he creating chances if he's just scoring goals?
Probably because of who he's playing against. I mean, it's great doing it against Burnley and bottom level teams, but if he's not doing it against Liverpool, Chelsea, us, City, Tottenham, Arsenal, then what is that? Look, I will admit that some of his performances in some of the big games have been poor, but what other Man United players this season and last season were stepping up in those games as well? No one besides CR7.
And he's done a bit of it. So would you not? And by the way, like if you think about CR7 this year, been assisted a few times in those big games by Bruno Fernandes, but wouldn't that suggest to you it's more of a team issue than an individual player issue?
Yes, 100%.
So that's why this Ten Hag backing him thing should be exciting to Man United fans, because you've got this manager that says, I think there's a player in there. And if you utilize him right with a strong system around him, and this is where Man United have got to get things right. Square pegs in square holes. Don't try and use Bruno as the player to dictate the tempo of the game. That's not his strength. That's stupid.
At all.
It's stupid.
Dumb. It's literally like playing him out of position. It's almost like playing him out of his position. Like you have to use. How many times do people say you have to use players to their strengths? Like Aubameyang is a perfect example. Why the fuck was he playing on the left wing? He's a central striker. Play him there. Look at when he got effed off to Barcelona by Arteta, which again is another sackable offense. The minute Xavi picks him up, he puts him at striker. Look how many goals he's gotten. See what I'm saying? Like literally, if Bruno's utilized, I see your point. If Bruno is utilized correctly, I have no doubt he can be an amazing player. I think Ole and all the other managers were putting him in the wrong position, which is probably why I think that he's done nothing, because he's not playing in his natural position. But if you play him in his natural position, like Aubameyang, like Lacazette, they'll contribute and they'll score.
I agree with you completely. GK, top call, top man for coming on, having your say. Really appreciate it, bro. Thank you. Top man. Danny, devil in the details here. Where's he at? He used to be a member, you see, so he used to see it a lot easier. He's not anymore. Oh, Danny.
You're going to make me cry, Danny.
He says, what have Man United done in big games this season for him to give CR7 credit? Listen, I think like Ronaldo, he scored against Arsenal, the volley against Spurs, hat-trick against Spurs. Like there have been some performances in these games. And I've been calling for Bruno to be dropped from the Man United team in large proportions of this season because he hasn't been good enough. And I understand that certain other players, you'll pick out Mahrez, you can pick out KDB. Some of these players will have attributes and abilities and the strings to their bow that Bruno doesn't. But this whole he does nothing else in the 90 minutes. I want to know what else people think. I don't want to try and go, oh, yeah, he does all these other things. My question then is, well, what is it you expect him to be doing? What are these things that you expect? And then let's go and check the facts as to whether he's doing it or not. And that's where you catch people out with their nonsense arguments. Doesn't do anything. Well, what else should he be doing? He should be intercepting. He should be doing this, doing that. Then you can go and check the numbers and check whether he's doing it. You then can cross-reference that with the eye test. It isn't to say he's perfect. There's lots of things for Bruno to improve. But people that think he's a trash footballer, you're wrong. It's baffling to be a Man United fan and not rate Bruno. Why do they rate Maguire? Well, listen, most don't rate Maguire. I don't rate Maguire either. But we know where it all went wrong for Bruno. Bruno Fernandes was the stick to beat Pogba with. And for a lot of people, beating Pogba is sacrilegious. Beating Pogba is a criminal offense. And and it's as simple as that. Man like Danny says needs to pay for Netflix. I hear you, bro. Do you know what? With so many streaming services now, I can't. I was talking to a friend of mine that works in the film industry. He was a stunt fighter. He was a very famous stunt fighter. He played Desh in The Born Ultimatum. A friend of mine, Joey Answer, really good guy. He was recently in the Mission Impossible films. And he was saying that because of the streaming services now making movies, TV shows as well, studio space, both in the UK and America, is like booked out for like 18 months in advance. Like you can't get studio space anywhere. No wonder we're all paying so much for our subscriptions. It's crazy. Fans are experts of knowing tomorrow why what they predicted yesterday didn't happen today, especially Arsenal fans. That's a very hard thing for a dyslexic to read, but I do hear you, my friend. I do hear you on that. We're going to get Mo on next, and then we're going to get Man United Mo on. Then we're going to be getting Jason. We're going to be getting Matty on the show, so stay with us. But hit likes and share buttons, people. Let's get this done. Mohammed, what you saying, my friend?
At last, hi Terry, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, my friend. What do you want to say? Are you there, mate? We can't hit you. You just frozen, my friend. Try calling us back when the line's a bit better. We're going to go to Matty, the Chelsea fan. What are you saying, mate?
How you doing, Terry? You all right? Long time no see.
Yeah, I'm good, my friend. Yeah, what do you, Koulibaly to Chelsea? What are you saying?
Oh, I hope not, mate. I hope not. You know, if he was that good, City would have got him. If he was that good, Liverpool would have got him. You know, trash. I'd rather have somebody like a youth player. You know, yeah, Ed Sheeran, something I've heard of many times. But I mean, I probably would have somebody. I'd love Jules Koundé. I'd have somebody else that does a better job. I've been following the Chelsea news now for quite some time, mostly due to the takeover. And we've been linked to a load of decent players. One that's actually at RB Leipzig, and to be fair, he looks like he's going to do business. You know, so I mean, I'd rather have somebody like that that's young, that can improve over time. Koulibaly's kind of at the end of his career, really. So, you know, he's in his 30s. You know, we're practically swapping like for like as far as Koulibaly and Rudiger. So I don't really see the difference, really.
Yeah, look, I sort of feel like, look, Koulibaly, I think that the amount of money people are talking about, still 70, 80 odd millions. It's a big dent in the budget. Younger players that you can develop may be absolutely key, especially with the direction that Chelsea are going in. You don't really know what the new spending is going to be like under the new owners. So, yeah, I couldn't agree more with you. As a rival fan, what's your take on Arteta's new deal?
Well, I'm looking forward to straight facts next week with Lee Gunner because I'm pretty sure he wants him out, mate. Look, Arteta can do something if he's properly backed. You know, he's had the right tutorage under Pep Guardiola. There's no excuses. You know, if he's properly backed, you know, I think he could do something. But, you know, you've got a very young team as well in that. So, you know, they've just got to get themselves together, really. But it's all about the Cronkies. It's the same with you guys at Man United. If you back Ten Hag, you guys will be unstoppable. So you know you've just got to get the recruitment side sorted and put the money up front. So as long as the Cronkies and the Glazers will do the same, they'll be back in the top 4 race, definitely.
Yes, it's certainly going to be an intriguing one. There's no doubt about it. Matty, top man for coming on and having your say. I appreciate it, Mo. Thank you. Man United, Mo, what you saying, mate?
How's it going, Terry? You all right?
Yeah, I'm very, very well. Ronaldo staying, Bruno being back. Give me your thoughts.
100%. Cristiano has to stay at Man United. Simple as that. He's been one of the top players this season. Yeah, he's not been all his way, but he's the one that stood up and showed the levels of World Cup. You know, there's levels in everything, Terry. And he showed that he's a level above these players, which is natural, you know. He's better than all of them anyway. He's a proper leader. He's a proper footballer. Bruno Fernandes, look, Terry, it's been a disastrous season for Man United. Every player has suffered. And Bruno Fernandes has shown he's human as well. He can suffer as well. You know, for the last 2.5 years, this man has single-handedly saved Man United, assisted Man United, scored goals, important goals, took United into top 4. Took them to, I think, 3rd and 2nd, and all of a sudden now, you know, the Man United fans are slating the guy. everyone's allowed to have a bad season. Harry Maguire has had a horrible season. You know, these players, look, Bruno Fernandes is not going to keep that level up forever. We all knew he was going to have a dip at some point, you know, and he's had that dip. So for me, Bruno's one of my favorite players. Pogba's one of my favorite players. And I'm excited for next season. The reason being, Terry, it's a fresh start. Like, the reason why United's performance have picked up is because they can see the light at the tunnel. It's coming to an end now. The nightmare's going to be over. We're winning a couple of games now. In the summer, some players need to just go away and reset, refresh, you know, go, you know, they've got the money, go to a place where you can reset your mind physically, mentally, and just take in what's happened this season. Come back next season stronger. Some players, Terry, are going to make it, and some players are not, but I think everyone should be given a clean slate. Even that includes Harry Maguire as well. He's had a disastrous season. However, it's a new manager. I expect some players to improve. I want to see McTominay, and if Rashford stays, I want to see, and Maguire as well. I want to see these players, how they play under a top world-class coach and fit into the system. It's not impossible, Terry.
No, it isn't. I would McTominay. I do have my doubts over, because I've never seen.
Same with Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah, I've never seen enough quality at any point from them. Defensively, AWB, yes. Offensively, no. But, you know, Maguire, I don't know. Rashford, though, you know, Bruno, these guys, I really want to see them with a competent manager.
Look,
and I want to say, sorry, very quickly, I want to go back to what Man United fans were complaining about for 2.5 years under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. 168 games, they complained about this. They basically said, no system, no coaching, just freestyle football. That train of thought has been completely and utterly forgotten about over the course of the past however many months. It's all now just, no, all of them were dead ballers. But if they were all dead ballers, then why were we not talking about them all being dead ballers when Ollie was here? And because they're dead ballers, then Ollie could never have created a system for them because they weren't good enough. This is the same squad that the Ollie outers and people like me that weren't staunch Ollie outers, that didn't believe sacking Ollie would improve us without the club changing its structure. We all sort of said, give this squad to a good quality manager and you'll see improvements. And I really do think that a lot of these players will get better under him. So him backing Bruno, one of the most prolific goal scorers and highest creators in the world. By the way, those two things in themselves tell you that he's a top level player. And even this year, it's been a pants year for him. Still one of the highest creators in the Champions League. Still one of the highest goal-scoring midfielders in European football in a bad year. So I'm excited about what Ten Hag can get out of him, no doubt.
Please, Terry, can I just say something about Paul Pogba?
Yeah.
Paul Pogba, Terry, for me, he's been inconsistent, right? But for me, Terry, he needs to, the reason why his football's been inconsistent, because with him, he's all over the place, Terry. He needs to man up, be a man, and make a decision. Stop being so indecisive. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. If you want to stay, stay. If you don't want to stay, you don't have to stay. But for Paul, we've all backed you. Terry's backed you. But just make a decision, Paul. Just be a man and say, look, I don't want to play for Man United. Don't come out and say, end of this. I'm going to decide to end the season. Decide what, Paul? You must know in your heart of hearts if you want to stay or leave. If you want to leave, then look, the season's over anyway, Terry. Just say, look, I'm going to, guys, thank you for the last 5 years. I'm heading off now. But now he's coming out with his Instagram post of him dancing in the United thing and all that. It's all mixed messages that Paul Pogba, if he wants to be a top footballer, needs to be manning up, start making decisions as a man. Yeah. Man up.
I hear you, Mo. Great message. That's top man. Speak to you again soon. Thank you, bro. Thank you very much indeed. Keep smashing that like button, people. Nearing on 300 likes, which is great. Jason's with me now. What are you saying, bro?
Come on, Terry. How you doing? How you been?
I'm very, very good. Remind everyone who you support, Jace.
Arsenal fan, of course.
You're an Arsenal fan. Arteta's got a new deal. What are you saying, Jay?
We're fucked. Yeah, we're actually fucked. I don't know what to say. Literally, honestly, I'm disappointed. I'm absolutely disappointed, with that appointment, because why do you have to reward a man who finished back-to-back 8th place finishes, getting knocked out of the FA Cup early, the third round early for both Nottingham Forest and Southampton, and a League Cup we went out with a whimper as well. So I mean, I don't understand. Honestly, I don't really understand why you're giving the contract now. I mean, obviously, we challenge for a top 4 place. Obviously, it's between Arsenal and Tottenham, and the race is not finished. And the main aim is to finish top 4. And you know what? I don't understand. I don't understand why he's been given a new deal. So that's the thing.
I kind of get why. A lot of good points have been made by viewers and callers in this show. Stability, the improvements are there. The squad like him. I also think some people that are more skeptical have got some good points. You know, it's cheaper than going after a world elite manager. It's the club like making top 4. Like I'll give you my personal opinion. I am still not convinced that the Cronkies or the Glazers care about anything more than making top 4. And I think if Arteta was to finish in the top 4 every year for the next 5 years, he's going to be your manager. As soon as he's made it in there once, if he falls out next year, I think they'll sack him. All this talk of stability, togetherness, how great he is with youngsters disappears if he starts to then lose the money, because they will probably commit to spending a little bit more now they're in it. But to spend more, you now need to be in it every year. The Glazers have that same model. You make top 4 or we sack you. And if you come 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, you challenge for a title or not, they don't care, as long as you're in that top 4 space. And if that's the standard of your football club...
No, it's not the standard whatsoever. The standard of sport is basic. The standard of elite sport is just to win. Because like I feel like as a football club aiming for top 4 in the size of Arsenal or the caliber of Manchester United, it's just absolute disgrace, where both of our clubs were like at the pinnacle beforehand, fighting for league titles whatsoever, and now we're like here scrapping for 4th. It's not on. That's not the standards, and I feel like part of that to blame would be the Cronkies and the Glazers. But the Cronkies, however, gave Arteta like full credit, full cash to spend. He spent 250 million, and you know what? With that money, that could have been used to sign like world-class players. So, I don't know what's going to go on. Like honestly, like Champions League qualifying for the Champions League next season would see how Arsenal would see like the actual.
I think this summer, what types of signings are made this summer, especially if you make it into the top 4, will tell everybody exactly how ambitious Arsenal Football Club is. And I hope, because I like to see football fans, football clubs that were built by the working classes, supported by the working classes, people like you and I like to see them respected, you know, and we'll see this summer. I'm going to remain on the middle of this one until I see against the owners, until I see what happens. Jason, top man, thank you, bro. Really appreciate the call. Thank you very much, my guy. Long time no talk. Someone here says football is about mentality. Football is about hard work. Partly. It's about being good at football as well. It's about being resolute. It's about being good technically, all those things. But without a strong mentality and hard work, you can't win. You know, you just can't win. Even if you've got the quality, you can't win without it. It's as simple and as straightforward as that. Mohammed's back with us now. What are you saying, Mohammed?
Hi, Terry.
Yeah, hi, mate. What do you want to say?
Yes, wanted to talk about Arteta new deal.
Yes, mate, go for it.
For me, I'm happy. I think it's the correct decision. I rate Arteta very high. For me, some people really strangely don't speak realistically or in sport sides of the game, or knowing and analyzing Arsenal as it is. For me, Arteta, when he came, he inherited a mess at Arsenal, inside and outside the pitch, creating a strong, successful football team. It's not just by a click of magic. Always takes time. I think this year is the real beginning of the change that we saw, the real beginning of Arteta, with the 6 new young signings that we made last summer. For me, Cronkies and the owners trust Arteta, and it's some people misjudge it. It's not that what we achieved last season or before. It's what we will achieve, what we are planning ahead, what's our ambitions. We have great ambitions, of course, and tying Arteta a long contract makes stability and assurance of the club before this crucial summer transfer window. We have to deal with agents, with players that asked about the project, the process, the manager, who is the main stone in it. And bear in mind also, we'll offer Saka a new deal. So sticking with Arteta means that the owners and Arteta have one aim now, is that to succeed. Some people are mooning about this season. Nobody at the beginning of the season expect Arsenal to fight for the top 4, and now we are fighting with the youngest squad in the Premier League, with playing for 2 months or more without 2 fullbacks, Tierney and Tomiyasu, and playing with 2 months without Partey, your best midfielder, and playing without a world-class striker also. So all of this, and we are fighting for the top 4.
Yeah. Are you there? Hello? There you're back. Yeah,
you hear me?
I think you give a lot of good reasons there as to why people should be getting behind Mikel Arteta. There's no doubt about it. Mohammed, we're at the end of the show now. Thank you for being patient and waiting. I really appreciate it. Top man for coming on and giving us your opinion. There are a lot of people in the comments agreeing with you as well. Thank you. And that's what we like to do on the terrace. It's about differences of opinions. People say, why'd you have Lee Gunner on? Well, he ain't the only person we have come on and have their say. Everyone's entitled to their opinion on the football terrace. That is how we do things. Do me a big favor before you leave, everybody. Make sure you smash the like button and you subscribe to the terrace. Until next time, everybody, take care of yourselves. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all.